The year was 1901. The remote wild reaches of Alaska, the icy fords, and narrow waterways of the Inside Passage had become the final gateway home for thousands of Klondike gold rushers. Men who risked everything for fortune, wealthy speculators, miners with bulging satchels of ore, hopeful families. Many boarded elegant steamships for the voyage south, to Victoria or Seattle, carrying more than memories. One of the most luxurious and ill-fated of these ships was the SS Islander. A shining steel-hulled steamship launched in 1888, built in Glasgow, designed for the rough seas yet calm interior waters of the Pacific Northwest. On the night of August 14th through the 15th, 1901, as the Islander steamed down the freezing Lynn Canal, something went horribly wrong. An iceberg? Or perhaps an uncharted underwater rock ripped open her hull. Within 20 minutes, the mighty liner vanished beneath frigid waters, along with the dreams and gold of dozens of passengers. This is the story of the Islander, a tale of gold, tragedy, mystery, and the question that echoes more than a century later. Where is the rest of that gold now? Chapter 1. The Islander, a floating palace of the gold rush era. The SS Islander was no ordinary steamer. At 240 feet long with a steel hull and twin screw engines, she was considered the pinnacle of comfort and reliability along the Inside Passage. She was built for speed and comfort, a luxury liner for prospectors, tycoons, bankers, speculators, fleeing the harshness of the Klondike or heading home with fortunes. On her last voyage, she carried officially 107 passengers and 61 crew, but rumors whispered of far more. Miners with sacks of gold dust, purses safes filled with bullion, and hidden gold shipments, possibly worth hundreds of thousands in 1901 dollars. Gold in those days traded at $20.67 an ounce, meaning even a modest shipment could translate into massive wealth. For many aboard, the Islander represented more than passage. It was the final step between dreams and riches. She was supposed to be safe. She was supposed to carry them home. Chapter 2. The Fatal Night, August 15th, 1901. At approximately 2 a.m. on August 15th, 1901, as the Islander sailed through narrow, fog-shrouded waters between Douglas Island and Admiralty Island, disaster struck. The ship struck what was reported as an iceberg or a submerged rock. Whether natural or uncharted, that object tore open a fatal wound in the ship's hull. Eyewitnesses and historical accounts indicate the impact was instantaneous and devastating. The forward compartments flooded, the bow submerged, and within minutes, the stern rose high before the vessel broke apart. Survivors later described a whoosh of escaping steam and air, followed by chaos, screams, rushing water, collapsing decks. Attempts to beach the liner on nearby Douglas Island failed. The cold, the shock, the speed of the sinking all worked against those on board. In under 20 minutes, the ship unbelievably vanished beneath the Lynn Canal's icy depths. Of the roughly 168 souls aboard, passengers and crew, 40 perished. Among them, the ship's captain, many crewmen, and several passengers, including the wife and child of Canadian politician James Hamilton Ross. Often compared to later disasters such as the Titanic, though less known, the sinking of the Islander made one thing crystal clear. The gold wasn't guaranteed. And life certainly wasn't either. Chapter 3, immediate aftermath, rumors of gold and early salvage attempts. Almost immediately after sinking, rumors swirled: gold bullion, gold dust, treasure-laden boxes, all lost beneath the waves. Stories said the purses safe held large quantities, that miners carried their wealth in leather pokes, sealed bags of placer gold, that bars of gold lay deep in the hold. The official assigned value of cargo lost was, in early reports, around $270,000 in 1901, which converts to over 13,300 troy ounces of gold. Some more sensational statements at the time suggested as much as 2 to 3 million worth of gold was on board in various forms. These rumors were more than idle hopes. Within days, salvage efforts began. In 1902, divers dragged the canal's floor looking for the wreck. A 1904 attempt using a diving bell and custom barge located the hull at roughly 175 feet deep, but could not penetrate the hold where the gold was believed to be stored. Only a section of deck, railing, and some scrap metal were recovered. Despite repeated salvage operations over decades, at least a dozen between 1904 and 1930s, none succeeded in reaching the ship's hold or secure safe area. Conditions were brutal: freezing water, strong currents, silt, cold, and the technical limits of diving and salvage gear of the time. Before we get to chapter 4, I'm going to switch to the Patreon shout out cam right here. And we're going to shout out. We're going to open the Moonlit chest right here. And we're going to draw a name. And it's going to be Starvin' Marvin for a third time. Starvin' Marvin 324. Thank you, Starvin' Marvin, for supporting me on Patreon. Let's get back to the main story. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. The 1930s effort and partial recovery of the Islander. By 1929, a bold salvage plan emerged. A Seattle salvage company led by a Captain Wiley and an engineer named Frank Curtis attempted a massive operation. They wanted to physically haul the wreck closer to shore, using cables, barges, which were the Grifson and Forest Pride, and the tidal motions of the Lynn Canal. They aimed to raise the wreck. After years of work, in 1934, they managed to bring a large portion of the ship's hull to shore at Green Cove on Admiralty Island. But the portion contained the suspected bullion hold remained lost. Approximately 60 feet of the forward section broke off and remained underwater. When examined, the hull yielded almost nothing of value, reportedly only some small items, nothing close to the rumored treasure trove. The salvagers spent around $200,000 then for an estimated return of just $50,000. The failed recovery deepened the mystery. Was the gold lost forever or scattered across the seafloor now that they tried to take it to shore? Or maybe the gold was never on board at the rumored scale. Chapter 5, Modern Salvage and the 2012 Recovery. Interest in the Islander never died. Its tales of gold, wealth, loss remained legendary. In the 1990s, a group from Washington State, Ocean Mar Inc., led by salvage entrepreneur Theodore Janes, staked a claim to attempt a new recovery. After decades of legal battles over salvage rights, U.S. courts granted them permission in 2012 to search and recover cargo from the wreck. That expedition struck gold. Literally, in 2012, divers and salvage crews recovered a sealed leather pokes bag containing gold dust and nuggets totaling 1,200 troy ounces. In 2016, that recovered gold was offered for sale for $4 million. The recovered gold was placer, unrefined, inside original leather pouches believed to have originated from the Klondike or other Alaska mining sites. But even after more than a century, the bulk of the supposed gold remained unrecovered. Ocean Mar claims that 10 to 12 wooden boxes of bullion, estimated to weigh several tons, were on board, but none have been retrieved. As of 2024, the wreck's bow section remains underwater. The striped hull and salvage barge remain rusting on the beach at Green Cove, a silent grave for lost dreams. Chapter 6. Names, Lives, Loss, and a Human Toll. Before we get into Chapter 6, we have a comment on our humble, modest live stream here. From Chips and Guac 2. He says, I finally made a live stream. I appreciate that. We do this every evening. I work a full-time job, but I try to do it sometime between 9 p.m. and midnight every night, Monday through Friday. We tell stories, true, strange stories from all over the world. So catch us Monday through Friday evening. Thank you for the comment. Chapter 6. Names, Lives Lost, the Human Toll. While treasure headlines grab attention, the Islander disaster was first and foremost a human tragedy. Of the 168 souls aboard, passengers and crew, 40 died. Contemporary sources list among the victims the ship's captain, Captain H.B. Foote. Among the passengers, the wife and young child of Canadian politician James Hamilton Ross. Records show their identities as Barbara Elizabeth McKay and her baby son, William McKay, as well as child's 15-year-old niece, Harriet Louise McKay. Survivors described agonizing scenes, a sudden tilt, water flooding cabins, chaos, freezing sea, collapsing decks, scrambling for lifeboats, then dark, icy water. One survivor, a Mr. Charles Ross, recounted his ordeal, woken by the collision, seeing upper decks collapse, and being thrown into the sea, clinging to wreckage for hours in near frozen water before being rescued, while his wife was lost. Bodies drifted, washed ashore. They were recovered with difficulty. Among them, women, children, elderly, and fortunes lost, families shattered, gold forgotten beneath the waves. Chapter 7. The treasure that might still be. Facts and rumors. Over 120 years later, the Islander wreck remains one of Alaska's most tantalizing treasure mysteries. Here is what we know and what remains rumors. Known facts. The wreck was located at approximately 175 feet depth and partially salvaged in the 1930s. Portions of the hull remain underwater. In 2012, 1,200 troy ounces of gold, dust, and nuggets were recovered from one leather bag, authenticated and sold in 2016. Salvage companies continue to hold legal rights, meaning further recovery remains possible. Rumor or uncertainty. Many estimates of thousands of ounces of gold, multiple bullion boxes, treasure chests worth tens of millions. Some of these is what was reported on the Islander, but there's no conclusive proof that those chests worth tens of millions exists, but they could have. The exact contents of the purser's safe, if it existed, are unknown. Whether bullion was carried or only placer gold, dust and nuggets, remains debated. Reports of stowaways, possibly 11 unaccounted, hint at the possibility that more lives and perhaps more gold went unrecorded. Chapter 8. Paranormal storms, rumors, and ghost stories. Beyond salvage reports and gold speculation, the Islander, like many great tragedies, attracted whispers of the supernatural. Folklore among many Alaskan divers and coastal fishermen mention ghostly voices, lights at night over the wreck site, and unexplainable sonar readings. One diver's account, quoted in a modern article, recalls being in the water 5 miles from the wreck, hearing voices on a silent night where no boats or humans should be, as though deck footsteps echoed across time. While nothing like this is formally documented, no verified paranormal investigation log, no academic record, the lore persists. The sea remembers. Those who died aboard the Islander are often said to still wander the depths. To some, the wreck isn't merely a source of lost gold, it's a haunted relic, a drowned monument to ambition, death, and mystery. Chapter 9, Why the Islander Still Captures Our Imagination. Why does the SS Islander story endure? After more than a century, after failures, recoveries, lawsuits, dives, and a lot of time, because it touches on universal human themes, the lure of wealth and the perils of greed, the cruelty of nature, ice, cold, rock, sea currents, the fragility of life. Wealthy tycoon or struggling miner, the water doesn't care. The mystery that never died, maybe some of that gold is still down there. The hope of discovery for treasure, answers, ghosts. For a storyteller, the Islander is perfect. It's dramatic, it's tragic, it's unresolved. And with modern technology, new salvage, and exploration, it remains a case that could one day yield answers. If you sail through the Lynn Canal on a calm summer night with fog rolling off Douglas and Admiralty Islands, you might pause and look under the dark waters. Maybe you'll see a glint. Maybe not. Maybe you'll feel the weight of history press upon your soul. But somewhere below in the cold, silent depths, the remains of the SS Islander rest, its hull beyond repair, its cargo mostly lost, but still there. Its stories half buried by time, silt, and salt. Gold dust, ripped luggage, scattered belongings, human bones, perhaps all entombed deep under layers of mud and seaweed. And yet, for those who dare to ask, who dare to remember, the Islander still shines as a ghost ship, a sunken fortune, and a timeless mystery. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We got I think we had 4 or 5 concurrent viewers. Again, this is a very modest live stream. I'm doing this every evening between 9 p.m. and midnight Mountain Standard Time. So join us, and you get to hear true, strange, mysterious stories every single night. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Like and subscribe, and join me on Patreon. Get your name in the Moonlit chest. Get your name shouted out during one of these live readings. I appreciate everybody who tuned in, and I will see you tomorrow night. Chips and Guac 2 said we had 5 at one point. Thanks, man. All right, I'll see you tonight, or tomorrow night. Have a good one.